Welcome, I'm Antonina Antosha and you are watching Head to Head with UATV. Russian occupational forces intensify persecuting the indigenous people of the Crimean Peninsula. On June 10th, around 7 a.m., Russian law enforcers raided a number of homes of Crimean Tatars in the occupied peninsula. As a result, 8 people have been detained. All of them were accused of cooperating with the Hizb-ut-Tahrir organization that is banned in Russia. And this is just one example among many. To talk more about this, we're joined in the studio today by Rustem Umerov. He is a member of the Mejlis of the Crimean Tatar people. Hello and thank you for coming.
Hi, thank you.
So why does Russia use this Hizb-ut-Tahrir organization? I mean, this organization is banned not only in Russia, but in a number of other countries. However, other countries do not demonstrate such severe persecution of people who are allegedly connected to the organization.
It's actually not about Hizb-ut-Tahrir. They are persecuted, first of all, because they are Crimean Tatars. Second of all, because they are the Ukrainian citizens who support the Ukrainian independence. On third, the allegations is just a matter of their tactics. So not all of the people who are affiliated with Hizb-ut-Tahrir or other organizations are actually members of such organization. So for Russians to interpret the scene on their own mind is their main goal. So as I said, the persecution is not about some kind of organizations. They claim that they are members of this organization, but most of them are not.
Judging by the information that appears on news feeds and elsewhere, the crackdown on Crimean Tatars has increased.
Yeah.
Why now?
It has not actually been increased now. It's been since the first day of occupation and annexation. And if you would look to the per week analysis from 2014 until today, you would see that these persecutions is going on, and they are actually focusing firstly the members of Mejlis, and then the delegates, and then activists and human rights activists. Now they turn the focus to the religious persecutions because it's not supported in the West. So that's why they use the different narrative. So they try to show that it's a religious persecution. So in this case, we need to be firm on that it is a human rights issue.
Violation.
Yeah, it's a human rights violation, and whatever things they tell us, it's not truth. It's actually most of them are just persecuted because they support Ukraine and has nothing to do with their narrative.
What kind of the reaction have we gotten from the West so far?
First of all, we are thankful that our allies, Ukrainian allies, supported us in 2014. The EU members and NATO allies, they're on our side because they support Ukraine. In this matter, there are, let's say, political discussions, there are diplomatical discussions, there are some support that they are providing. So we constantly feel their support. We sometimes also want other members of the United Nations to support us, like the members of the Organization of Islamic Council. We don't have too much support from them, but many abstains, and just because maybe we don't explain our situation, and they are in close cooperation with Russia. So with this case, our allies are actually supporting us as much as they can.
Yet and still, more could be done, right? So what do we do? What does Ukrainian government do in order to even raise awareness even more in the West about what's happening in the Crimean Peninsula?
Yeah, my personal view is that everybody should understand that nobody will help us until we are strong. And we need to have a consolidation of our internal forces to make the issue of occupied territories such as Crimea and occupied Donbass a priority, a strategy within the state of Ukraine, and explain to our allies that it's not the matter of fighting between somebody. It is our major strategy, and we need the support of allies. Why? Because we are a developing state. In this case, more could be done, but what could be done is we have seen, as I said, political and diplomatical support. The third is the security. Fourth is economical development. I think on the economical development part, partners could do more. And this is the
For
major
example,
issue.
like what? Like, what do you mean?
If we would analyze just the support of the allies to other, let's say, constrained countries or the countries that are developing, we would see that we thankful for what they did. But in my humble opinion, it's not enough. We understand that there are some internal issues. There is a corruption, there is some issues related to some influence, but it's actually not a matter of strategy. The strategy is to feel the financial support as well. They provide us a financial support, but we need more programs from EU to be open for Ukrainian small and medium enterprises. We need a financial institution, development financial institution support to small and medium enterprises. And we need to open up our country as a country of rule of law so that the partners could feel that they could bring more institutions here. And my understanding is that the financial institutions should step in, because if the developed financial institutions are in, private equities would come, venture capitalists would come. And there are many other instruments that could be performed in the market or introduced to the market.
You've been talking about the European Union countries. What about Turkey, the country that has direct historical links to the Crimean Tatar community?
Let's say it this way. Until 2014, our security forces, let's say, or people were not, the Turkey has been presented in the market, let's say in Ukraine, as a country that has some ties to Crimean Tatars, that would be willing to, I don't know, strengthen the influence. I think it's a wrong narrative. First of all, the Crimean Khanate, who had bigger than Crimean Peninsula, after the Russian occupation and annexation in 1783, had a population about like up to 2 million, let's say, and 1.5 million, from 1 million to 1.5 million people have fled to the Ottoman territories. So that is why we have a huge, let's say, community, diaspora in Turkey. Somebody says from 5 million to 8 million people. So at this stage, Turkey has not only diaspora, but it's our NATO ally, it's our neighbor in the Black Sea. So in this case, what has been done by Turkey? From 2014, they were always saying that Ukraine territorial integrity is a main issue for Turkey, and Turkey supports it. They support it in UN, they supported us in the European Union, in parliamentary assembly issues. They have given consultations to the Ukrainian authorities, and they've been in close contacts with us. So in this regard, we have three major support areas: political, diplomatical, and development.
Okay. Russian Federation or Russian law enforcers detain not only Crimean Tatars, they detain Ukrainians as well. However, Ukrainian citizens that are being detained by Russian law enforcers are considered to be political prisoners, whereas Crimean Tatars are not. What's the difference, in your opinion?
I think as, let's say, leadership of Crimean Tatars, the Mustafa Agha, Rifat Agha, and other leaders always said that they're persecuted because they're Ukrainian citizens, and we don't actually segregate them by ethnicity, Ukrainian, Crimean Tatar. Whenever we speak with our allies, whenever we speak with people who might support us, we always provide them the full list without any segregation or prioritization to ethnical or some other affiliation. So, unfortunately, my understanding is that internally in Ukraine, we still have some question marks, like who is being captured? Are they really, do they really belong to some kind of organization? So in this regard, I would say that no segregation done by ethnical, religious, or any other views. We do provide the full list of all detainees. We count them as a political prisoners, and only we have 24 prisoners of war whom we accept as a country as a prisoners of war. So that is why there's only two terminologies that we use. Other than that, in media or some organizations claim that they are priority list, some kind of other list. I don't want to go to detail because it's a wrong thing. They are political prisoners. And there are 24 guys who are prisoners of war. So these are the two main issues.
Okay, well, the one thing is for sure that we all need to stay united in the face of Russian aggression. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
That was Rustem Umerov. He is a member of the Mejlis of the Crimean Tatar people. Thank you so much for watching UATV. Stay tuned for more.